while ago, Lester Napak, who lives directly across the lake from me, and I made a pact together. I said that any time that I'm successful with Lorraine late at night, I'll blink my lights. Anytime he's successful with Joanne, he'll blink his lights. 3 weeks pass, Lester calls me, I don't see any lights blinking in your place. I said to Lester, I don't see any blinking by you either. But when I look down the lake at the Schillermans, it's like the freaking 4th of July. I asked Bob's wife, Lori, about this, and she said, yes, Bob is active. I asked how active, and she said he even does twilight double headers. I am lucky if I have late night activity, at least as often as I take a haircut. And I don't take haircuts very often. So I asked Lorraine to tell me how good am I late at night, and she said, okay. So I said, but sometimes I hear her scream, oh God, oh God. Is that some kind of religious orgasm? So she answered, no, she was just praying to get me off of her. Then I sometimes hear her moan, oh Joel, oh Joel. So she said that's her fake orgasm. So I asked her, what does she shout when she has her real orgasm? She said she can't remember. I asked Lorraine, how can I improve? So she said we really never talk in bed, and perhaps the experience would be better if we talked. Unfortunately, I told her that it won't work. I can't multitask. This morning there were 16 guys at our weekly breakfast. Craig Welch recommended that a la Will Smith. During my routine, I should have someone come up and slap me. When immediately all the other guys' hands went up to volunteer, I quickly decided to reject the suggestion. During our first years here, I was very happy. I thought I was very, very popular. We went out almost every night with different couples. Then one day, Ken Oliver calls to ask about going out with Ken and Gail. I then said to Ken, I don't understand. I'm just very, very popular. We'll find a place for you. So Ken then told me, he explained to me that the reason I'm so popular is that all the guys think that I'm a putz. And that by comparison, they look great in their wives' eyes, which could lead to happy endings. I have to admit that I had to see a psychiatrist recently. He asked me to describe the symptoms. I told him that every time I have to park the car with Lorraine in it, I get anxiety attacks, palpitations, and I almost pass out. Then no matter where I park the car, Lorraine complains. The doctor laughed and said it is a common condition known as parkingitis, and it afflicts husbands since they are not used to making any decisions on their own. Seriously, it is a growing major issue in this country and is leading to more and more domestic violence. I told him that my symptoms keep getting worse. I have nightmares about it at times. It is now affecting me even when I'm driving alone and I have to park the car alone. Sometimes even when I try to park the car near the clubhouse. I asked him how to remedy this. He said, if possible, I should go to the parking lots beforehand and stake them out to feel a little more comfortable. If this fails, he said I should try to get out of the car and have Lorraine park the car instead. If she is unwilling to do so, we should make use of Ubers or have Lorraine drive the car more often, or try to limit destinations to within walking distance. He said if necessary, he can refer me to the preeminent expert in the world of parkingitis, Dr. Billy Nathanson, who lives in Valencia Palms. Dr. Nathanson is a Phi Beta Kappa graduate of PS 222 in Brooklyn. He may prescribe shock treatment or high-powered drugs. If you are a fellow sufferer, let me know and I will tell you if any of this stuff works. At the last comedy club, I talked about the need for cemeteries to offer GPS instead of a map so you can easily find your loved ones. My current idea is for senior citizens to have a GPS to tell you where the nearest bathroom is. Or they can have an app entitled URINE, You're in Luck. Regarding the pandemic, to ensure the highest vaccination rate, the CDC should have listed improved virility as a side effect. Okay, a few more Lorraine things here. I was able to cure Lorraine's extreme fear of flying. She had previously sought professional help and taken a fear of flying course. Neither cured her fear of flying. However, my driving has now deteriorated to the point where she prefers being in an airplane to being in a car with me.
It's hard to keep this.
I brought home a takeout from Reuven's. Lorraine saw there was a sour pickle and complained that I should have known that she likes half sour pickles. So with quick thinking, to satisfy her, I cut the sour pickle in half. I will be relating two oldies but goodies, but think it's important because I want to tell our new residents about two dear friends, Sherwin Berman and Marty Applebaum, who do all they can to make people feel good. If you haven't met them yet, new residents, make every effort to do so. Years ago, my very good friend, Sherwin Berman, was sitting on a lounge chair next to me at the pool, and he asked, "How old am I?" So I told Sherwin, "Take a guess." So he said, 74. I angrily told him, "I'm 67. He said, "No effing way." We argued further. I told him then it was always polite to guess on the low side when you're guessing somebody's age. So Sherwin said, "That's what I did." Now for Marty Applebaum. 13 years ago, there was a physical therapy group called Alpha, and they gave a presentation at the men's club meeting. My good friend Marty Applebaum told me that they were very good and I should think about using them if I needed to. I answered that they didn't take my medical insurance. He said, yes, they do take Medicare. I told him I was 62 and I wasn't Medicare eligible. He stared at me and said, "Wow, God didn't do you any favors." And finally, for our new residents, this should be added to the Valencia Palms orientation. If you are walking by the veranda in the afternoon, do not be afraid when you hear a lot of bird chirping sounds. It is not a scene from Hitchcock's The Birds. You will not be pecked on, you will not be pooped on. It is merely women chirping while playing canasta and mahjong. Also, under no circumstance should you approach the front doors of the clubhouse at or around 4 o'clock. You could be trampled by the women leaving at the end of their games. No, I don't think they're leaving at 4 o'clock to go home to cook meals for their husbands. Instead, they need enough time to rest and then talk to each other on the phone to decide where to go out for dinner. Okay, guys, let's all stay healthy, and remember, it's important to laugh.